Now, count on 2, live and local in the Low Country. This is News 2 Today.
Good Saturday morning. Thanks so much for starting your day off with us. Today is August 31st. I'm Olivia Parsons. Let's head over to meteorologist Ariel Hooley in the Weather Center this morning. Ariel, all this Dorian talk, but we just got some new information, correct?
Yeah, the 8 a.m. advisory just coming in, and it shows that pressure is down and Dorian continues to intensify. The winds up to 145 miles per hour. But I want you to see, taking a look at satellite, we have a well-defined eye at this point. It's not completely symmetrical though, and that's going to be key as the storm continues to strengthen. Let's get right to that advisory though. You can see still a category 4, those winds at 145 miles per hour, pressure down to 944 as the storm continues to move now west at 12 miles per hour. Before we were moving northwest, but as it moves west, it's going to move a little closer to the Florida coast, affecting the Bahamas today. Now, the latest track does still bring it up that Florida coastline, not actually making landfall. It will be a close call when it comes to that, but no doubt we are looking at some effects here in the Low Country according to this latest track. Of course, this is subject to change, but here's the impacts that we're looking at as we head into the second half of this week here. Heavy rain going to be one of the impacts. We could see anywhere from 5 to 10 inches of rain, as you can see taking a look at that legend. But we're also talking some wind impacts. This is our European model, and you can see it keeps that storm just offshore, eventually working its way to the Carolina coastline. This is 7 a.m. on Thursday. This, however, does keep the strongest of the winds just offshore, and it does look like it's going to move out of here quickly. The GFS actually moving a little bit quicker, but that as well keeps the strongest winds just off our coastline. So no doubt it's something that we need to continue to watch. But the bottom line for you here in the Low Country, we have some minor impacts out there for your Labor Day weekend. A high rip current risk, as well as that onshore wind leading to some coastal flooding downtown. Monday and Tuesday, check back in, pay attention. Make sure your hurricane kit is ready to go, because if we do see any impacts, it will be mid to late week. I'll have a look at that extended forecast, including the potential impacts, and a look at your Labor Day forecast coming up. Olivia?
All eyes on Hurricane Dorian this morning as it inches closer to the Florida coast. Several coastal counties in South Carolina already preparing a response to what the storm could bring to us. News 2 State House reporter Georgia Godfrey spoke with emergency management officials to find out what's going on at the state level to prepare not only for Dorian, but for other storms that may come our way.
Despite not being in action responding to severe weather, agencies like the South Carolina Emergency Management Division have been working behind the scenes to make sure the agencies are ready to respond. All eyes are on Hurricane Dorian at the South Carolina Emergency Operations Center. It's the first major hurricane expected to hit the United States.
As we get closer to, certainly when it gets to Florida, we'll get more information in terms of where we think it might go, and then we can kind of fine-tune our plans.
Plans the agency has been working on since Hurricane Florence.
We want to ensure that there's no lost lives or casualties as a part of this storm or any storm coming in. So when an evacuation isn't announced and you're in an evacuation zone, it would be very prudent to leave. So that's one of the areas that we want to continue to work on.
During Hurricane Florence, about 60% of the residents told to evacuate did. Emergency management isn't the only agency that has been on standby. The Department of Natural Resources is also waiting to jump into action.
Our officers and staff have plans, and we're making sure that our plans are in order and that our equipment is in order. Water rescue, search and rescue operations in flood conditions is something that we are called upon sometimes to do.
To make sure the department is prepared for any severe weather, the Department of Natural Resources canceled boating inspections scheduled for this weekend to make sure all staff is available. In West Columbia, Georgia Godfrey.
And a reminder, emergency management says this is the time to start preparing and make sure you have a plan in place in case Hurricane Dorian brings power outages or flooding to the state. The Charleston Animal Society also prepping for Dorian. Staffers deployed to Florida yesterday to bring back between 60 to 100 animals from areas expected to be impacted by the hurricane. They're helping out the same partner shelters that will come and help them if and when a hurricane hits our area.
So once we get the cats in tonight from the Daytona Beach area, about 40 or so, we'll prep those, let them rest overnight, and then in the morning we will take them in this van up to places like Lexington County, Greenville County, Anderson County, to our partners up in that area, so that there are not any large number of cats that would overwhelm one organization.
Joe Elmore, president and CEO of the Charleston Animal Society, says people in the Low Country need to make room for one more to ensure these animals stay safe. We continue our coverage of Hurricane Dorian this morning out of Cocoa Beach, Florida. That's where we find Ryan Hughes. And Ryan, businesses in the area, they're already starting to board up days out from when the hurricane's supposed to hit up.
Good morning. You got it. They've been doing that for the last few days here in Brevard County, Florida. We're kind of halfway between Daytona Beach and West Palm Beach on the state's East Coast. I'll step out of the way right now and give you a live look at this gas station. This is a Circle K. You see the front doors and the windows are boarded up right now. And there's something rare here as well. In the midst of all this, gasoline. These pumps just a moment ago were pretty busy, no customers here now, but the gasoline still flowing from these pumps, even though there are plenty of gas stations in Brevard that no longer have gas. Now, the sheriff of the county is issuing a mandatory evacuation for the barrier island here, low-lying areas for mobile and manufactured homes and for special needs residents. That goes into effect at 8 a.m. Sunday. Shelters are set to open at noon tomorrow as well. So again, that evacuation order set for 8, and then the shelters will open just a few hours later at noon. Thousands of people, of course, are expected to hit those shelters in the coming days. This is what the sheriff of the county also had to say last night on Facebook. Listen here.
Currently, we anticipate our area will experience tropical storm force winds beginning Monday evening, with hurricane force winds beginning to arrive sometime Tuesday. While the storm is a major storm with extremely high wind speeds, it is expected to move slowly over top of us for an extended period of time, expelling somewhere around 18 inches to multiple feet of rain.
So floodwaters could be a big concern, rather, depending on how close the hurricane gets. This is a look at Florida Today. It's the local newspaper here in Brevard County, and you see 3 stories on the front page, all devoted to the hurricane. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Ryan, and stay safe out there as you continue to give us our coverage. And we have everything you need to know before, during, and after a storm in our 2019 Hurricane Guide, which you can download for free in our Hurricane Central tab. That's on our website, counton2.com.
Next on News 2.
A 5K race remembering the nearly 3,000 lives lost on September 11th, 2001, and honoring our veterans, military, and first responders. How you can participate in the 9/11 Heroes Run coming up next. But before we go, let's take a look at what's trending on counton2.com right now. Dorian becomes extremely dangerous Category 4 hurricane. Plus, the Charleston Animal Society deploying to Florida to pick up shelter animals. And Hurricane Dorian approaching winds of 130 miles per hour.
Stay in the know on the go with the News 2 app, sponsored by Wired Installations.